Hello everyone. This is the 35th part of the story, Marvel Unlimited Skills, I Can Download. Chapter 215, Devil. On the Wakanda battlefield. At the moment, a cruel female devil, holding a spear consisting of supernova and black hole energy, was in the Dark Monster's army. She was constantly slaying tribal soldiers. She was just one of the Black Order, Proxima Midnight, who was the most loyal subordinate of Thanos. Seeing the crisis of the tribal soldiers, a flash of purple light flashed, and then Black Panther appeared, who was wearing golden-patterned armor and fought with Proxima Midnight. Bang! The fierce collision between the weapon and the claw rang out frequently. Soon, the two had fought for more than 10 rounds. And their good fighting abilities stirred up the dusts around them. The lances of Proxima Midnight could not penetrate the Black Panther's armor, and the wounds that Black Panthers caused on Proxima Midnight's body would also be quickly recovered. It was a close race. On the other side, in the core building in the city center. Bang! The soldiers of the bodyguard team were lying down in the blood pool under the power of the immortal battle blade. The blade was the weapon of Corvus Glaive, Immortal Battle Blade. The Immortal Battle Blade, as the name implied, meaning that as long as the battle blade would not be broken, and then Corvus Glaive would not die either. No matter how much damage he got, Corvus Glaive could recover relying on the power of the Immortal Battle Blade. It was just because such a wound-changing tactic that Corvus Glaive could help Thanos conquer the battlefield and be invincible. At the moment, the Black Panther's guard team was unable to resist him, and then Corvus Glaive rushed into them. He knew that Vision would be hidden here. As long as he killed Vision, he would be able to gain Mind Gem, and then got honor. The last time he failed, so he must succeed this time. At the moment, Vision was standing at the top of the tower, and he constantly focused on the situation of the war. He and Shu Han were manipulating the city's defensive tower to kill the demon army. Then he heard the voice of the guard team. Vision knew that the army would come to him soon. Shu Han, you continue to master the defense system. And I'll go and have a look. Well, Mr. Vision, you have to be careful. Shu Han knew that she had no ability to close combat, so she could only do a good job and nodded. Then Vision passed through the barrier beneath its feet. It just saw the scene of Corvus Glaive killing bodyguards. It's you. The guy who had seriously injured me on that day. Vision quickly recognized the murderer who had led to his weakness. You are right. And you will die soon. Then Corvus Glaive suddenly disappeared from the front of Vision. After he reappeared, he stabbed Vision's back with the back of the Immortal Battle Blade. Bang! There were many sparks appearing. Last time, he stabbed Vision just like stabbing tofu, but this time the same scene did not appear again. What's going on? Why did this guy's body become so hard? At the moment, Corvus Glaive was very surprised. You didn't expect this. Then the body of Vision suddenly changed from red to black, and the starlight in its body flashed and passed away. It was actually able to switch the shape of its body at any time, and it was also able to turn into a man's appearance, letting alone disguised as the past appearance. In essence, its body had long been reinforced by Bruce with the vibranium. It was no longer red and white but the extreme black. Sensing the improvement of Vision, the Corvus Glaive immediately changed the tactics and waved the blade to attack the head of Vision, pointing directly to the connecting part of the Mind Gem and the body. He wanted to hit Mind Gem down from Vision's head. And Vision of course would not allow him to do this, so it constantly lifted its arms to resist the attack of Corvus Glaive. Therefore, Corvus Glaive could not do anything to Vision in a short time. After all, Vision had vibranium armor and he was not like those weak bodyguard teams whose bodies were exposed outside, which allowed him to attack them. Unfortunately, the battle technique of Vision was still not as good as Corvus Glaive, who had fought on the battlefield for many years, and got a lot of fighting abilities from the real death. Therefore, after a few rounds, Vision revealed a flaw and was hit by Corvus Glaive on the Mind Gem of his forehead. Bang! The Mind Gem was indestructible, but it did not integrate with vibranium into one. Therefore, under the repeated beating of Corvus Glaive, there was a faint sign of looseness at the interface. Even though you got a harder body, you still could not protect the gem. At the moment, seeing the victory balance began to tilt towards him, Corvus Glaive laughed. For the present vision, the loss of a gem was just equal to losing its life, because mind gem was connected to its nerves. Violent enucleation would make it die like a brain death, it finally would die. But Bruce would not allow this to happen. When Corvus Glaive was very happy, Quicksilver appeared. Then Quicksilver quickly changed into the Star War armor and then struck a ring. After that, the surrounding time began to become very slow. Quicksilver directly punched Corvus Glaive, who was laughing. Then Corvus Glaive's several teeth were knocked out, mixing with blood and saliva, and flew out from his mouth. At the moment, the liquids floating in the sky were slowly falling. Then Quicksilver walked leisurely to the side of Vision and pressed the loose mind gem back with his fingers. Then he ran away with Vision. Before they ran away, Quicksilver made a sardonic expression to Corvus Glaive. After they left, the time came back to normal. At the moment, Corvus Glaive blankly looked at his teeth on the ground and felt the air in his mouth. Obviously, the task had failed again. And there was no one left now, only leaving him alone in the wind. Then the losing Corvus Glaive had to take out the crystal ball of Ebony Maw and prepared to locate Vision again. At this moment, a man with a magnetic voice suddenly came from the building. "Crystal Ball, this is a good thing to pursue people." "Who is it?" Corvus Glaive said with surprise now. He actually did not notice the person who was so close to him. Then Corvus Glaive lifted his head hurriedly. He saw Bruce walk down the stairs slowly with a black suit. After seeing the man's face, Corvus Glaive widened his eyes. "Number. It is him who had killed Ebony Maw." Because Corvus Glaive had long seen the picture of Ebony Maw's death from the crystal ball, he knew that he was not able to deal with Bruce. "I must inform the other devils and the Lord Thanos as soon as possible." Immediately, Corvus Glaive launched stealth and prepared to slip away. At the moment, Bruce looked at the place where Corvus Glaive disappeared without any expression. "Do you want to run?" "It's too late." Then Bruce just lifted his hand, and something was caught in his hand. "Gotcha!" Bruce twisted Corvus Glaive's neck directly and Corvus Glaive's body appeared. Corvus Glaive's invisibility was just like nakedness in front of Bruce's the god's telekinesis. The strong who really stepped into the god level did not judge things only by their eyes, but to rely on their spirit. "Oh? It's a bit interesting." Bruce was surprised that Corvus Glaive was still alive even though his neck had been twisted by him, so he decided to take a look at Corvus Glaive's information. Name, Corvus Glaive. Identity, one of Black Order, the husband of Proxima Midnight. Ability, super invisibility, energy value 15W, superpower, energy value 10W, immortal constitution, obtained through immortal battle edge, energy value 15W, super agility, energy value 10W, magic gun method, energy value 10W. Item, immortal battle blade, crystal ball. I see. After seeing Corvus Glaive's information, Bruce knew it finally. It was actually that Corvus Glaive relied on his weapon to transform into an undead body. Therefore, as long as he destroyed his weapon, Bruce could kill Corvus Glaive. Chapter 216, Assassination. Even though destroying Corvus Glaive was very easy for Bruce, Bruce still chose a more violent way to do this. "Ah, what are you doing?" At the moment, Corvus Glaive found that he was locked by a strong force, and his whole body could not move. Then Bruce looked at Corvus Glaive. The effect of the immortal constitution was indeed good. At the moment Bruce looked at Corvus Glaive's information, and the immortal physical constitution had already recovered Corvus Glaive's head. Bruce looked at the immortal battle blade satisfiedly, then Bruce extended a finger to Corvus Glaive. This movie made Corvus Glaive's soul out. Ah! Then Corvus Glaive's soul was totally shattered by Bruce's god's telekinesis. From now on, there was no Corvus Glaive anymore. Beep! Congratulations to the host for killing one of Black Order and getting 10W of energy value. The Corvus Glaive also made Bruce get 10W of energy value. At the moment, Bruce searched the crystal ball from the flesh of Corvus Glaive. Then he put the crystal ball and the immortal battle blade into the warehouse of the system and directly left the scene. After Bruce left, the dead body turned into ashes. A room in the Wakanda High building. At the moment, Bruce took out the crystal ball and launched his god's telekinesis. Crystal ball found that there was a soul in it. The crystal ball was aware of Bruce's strength and then surrendered immediately. Locate Supergiant. After receiving Bruce's order, crystals in the crystal ball immediately scattered like snow. After several seconds, the snow disappeared, and then the crystal ball showed a picture of Supergiant and transmitted it to Bruce at once. At this moment, Supergiant was sitting quietly in the planetary warship of Thanos, and did not intend to attack. She was different from the other devils. Strictly speaking, this female devil was the same as Ebony Maw, who all belonged to the Master. But Ebony Maw's abilities were more inclined to attack and Supergiant's abilities were inclined to control. Supergiant's abilities were to directly control others' minds by spiritual parasites. Before Thanos recruited Supergiant to join the Black Order, she was an autistic patient in the orphanage. Simple speaking, she liked suicide, so she liked to stay alone. When Thanos sent the Dark Army to invade the Earth, she stayed in the warship and waited for orders. And the only devil who had a good relationship with her was Proxima Midnight. Therefore, Proxima Midnight let her stay in the warship to wait for an opportunity. After all, she was the type that was more suitable for sneak attacks. For example, she suddenly attacked a general of Wakanda whose spiritual defensive ability was weak, or controlled by the Black Panther or Thor, then she might turn the war around. It was not suitable for her to kill people directly. After Bruce figured out the information of Supergiant, then he located Supergiant through his god's telekinesis, and he left the room directly. In fact, since the monster army had just appeared, he stood in the distance and secretly hanged one of them with his god's telekinesis. As a result, the system only rewarded one energy value to him. Therefore, he had no intention of accompanying the Avengers to massacre the monster army. Although large-scale attack could accumulate a large amount of energy value from killing monsters, it will also attract the attention of Thanos. That would eventually lead to a situation where he was at disadvantage. Therefore, Bruce would not definitely do this. So he decided to assassinate all the devils first and cut off Thanos' all-powerful helper, which would greatly weaken Thanos' power. By doing it this way, he also could complete the task of killing Black Order, got many energy values, and then he went to Thanos to fight. After all, Strange had given the time gem to him. And Quicksilver had saved Vision and ran away. Therefore, it was impossible for Thanos to gather all 6 Infinity Gems. On Thanos' warship. No one had found Bruce's landing after all, most of the monsters had been sent to the battlefield of Wakanda. When he approached Supergiant within about 100 meters, Bruce found that Supergiant, who was always in silence, suddenly stood up, and looked at Bruce with bitterness. Bruce was found out. She deserved to be a devil who was good at spirit, and her perception was very strong. Since he had been found out, Bruce did not have to hide again. Then Bruce immediately used the body blur ability to go through the warship's wall, and launched a quick move, ready to kill Supergiant directly. But when he just moved, Supergiant had opened her mouth in advance. Ah! Supergiant's voice was like a sound wave and made the whole warship shake heavily. The ship's rooms near Supergiant were all shattered. This horrible sound wave swept over Bruce's war god body and made him feel very uncomfortable. The ordinary people would die immediately under the attack of this sound wave. At the moment, the sound wave had startled the Dark Army outside, but the monsters just turned around and ignored them. After all, these monster soldiers had only killings in their eyes. As long as they did not get Thanos and Devil's orders, they did not care about anything. Damn it! When Proxima Midnight heard Supergiant's loud voice, he immediately stopped attacking the Black Panther and disappeared quickly. Originally, he intended to weaken the Black Panther and then let Supergiant control the Black Panther so that he could quickly end the battle. But now, Supergiant had problems, so she could only return to the warship first. Before leaving, she ordered the Dark Monster to maintain the attack on Wakanda. In the warship, Bruce shook his head and was ready to continue to kill the Supergiant. After all, Supergiant could not continuously scream out such a strong spirit and a sharp whistle. She needed to take a break. Therefore, Bruce could take advantage of this chance and killed Supergiant. When he approached Supergiant, Bruce discovered that she was squatting on the ground, holding her head in her hands. But he did not kill Supergiant immediately. Instead, he looked at Supergiant's information by touching her. Name, Supergiant. Identity, 1 of bulk order. Ability, psychoparasitic, energy value 20W, death impact, energy value 15W, super invisibility, energy value 15W, super spirit, energy value 15W, super agility, energy value 10W. After seeing Supergiant's information, Bruce understood. The death impact should be the sound wave that Supergiant just sent. It was a very powerful ability. Then psychoparasitic was obviously more powerful. If he learned this ability, he would be able to control the army of the devil tribe outside by controlling the devils. In the hands of Supergiant, this ability could only be used to sneak attack, but it would be totally different under his powerful god's telekinesis. But there was a new problem. After Bruce downloaded the vibranium extraction, he only left 11W of energy value, so how to download Supergiant's psychoparasitic? Just as Bruce was depressed, he suddenly felt that another strong aura was approaching here by his god's telekinesis. It must be the last female devil who could emit such an aura. What a timely arrival. At the moment, Bruce smiled happily. Chapter 217, Awakening. I have to save Supergiant. Proxima Midnight, who was coming back, was very anxious now. Wakanda was a hard bone, because it prepared well enough, and there were so many powerful Avengers there. Therefore, Supergiant was the key person before Thanos appeared. Supergiant was the most critical factor. Otherwise, how could she explain it when Thanos came and found that all men were already dead? This was just why she abandoned the command line and decided to go back to the rescue Supergiant. Luckily, Supergiant is still alive. At the moment, Proxima Midnight was relieved when she felt Supergiant's breath after returning to the warship. But when she walked to the Supergiant's room and looked at the scene of a phallus, she realized something was wrong. Supergiant had released a death impact. Could it be that the enemy had been killed? At the moment, Proxima Midnight looked at Supergiant with a bit of doubt. Be careful behind. Supergiant suddenly lifted her head and said this. No. Proxima Midnight reacted quickly, immediately brought out her weapon and turned around and then acted. There was no sound, then the person had already resigned her attack by one hand. How terrible. Proxima Midnight surprisingly looked at the hand that resisted her attack. The hand was surrounded by a dark force and it was like the real black hole absorbed her weapon. At the moment, Proxima Midnight felt helpless, and she tried her best to move her Star Shadow Spear. The Star Shadow Spear emitted a dazzling light, and then several rays bursted out, breaking away from the dark power. Who are you? After Proxima Midnight took back her Star Shadow Spear, she made a guard posture against Bruce. The present Bruce still wore a black suit. At this moment, he stood straight and looked solemn. Hearing that, Bruce tilted his head and said embarrassedly, Me? I am just the nameless pawn of the shield. S.H.I.L.D. What is that place? At the moment, Proxima Midnight was stunned, because she had never heard this name before. Bruce did not pay much attention to her. In fact, he was watching her information in his mind. Name, Proxima Midnight. Identity, 1 of Black Order, the wife of Corvus Glaive. Ability, super invisibility, energy value 15W, leadership, energy value 10W, superpower, energy value 10W, super agility, energy value 10W, dark vision, energy value 10W. Item, Star Shadow Spear. After reading Proxima Midnight's information, Bruce had no interest at all. Then he took out the immortal battle blade from the warehouse, and Bruce found that the dark power that had been absorbed from the dark source would be able to control the immortal battle blade perfectly. Therefore, he crazily poured the dark divine power into it, and then the immortal battle blade burst out a strong dark light. This weapon. At the moment, Proxima Midnight looked at Bruce amazingly and unbelievably. But before she could react, the immortal battle edge was already inserted into her body. Before she died, she finally knew that her husband was killed by this man. But obviously, she had no chance to take revenge. Beep! Congratulations to the host for killing one of the Black Order, Proxima Midnight, and the energy point is 10W. Proxima Midnight, no. You deserve to die. Seeing the death of Proxima Midnight, Supergiant stood up and her eyes were full of hatred. At the moment, Bruce looked at Supergiant with a sneer. He was holding an immortal battle blade in his left hand, and his right hand picked up Proxima Midnight's star shadow spear. His whole body emitted the aura of the King of Hell. Ah! In a short moment, Supergiant's body was pierced by two devil weapons. Even though she had tried her best to use his psycho-parasitic ability against Bruce, she did not have any chance to turn it over. Then Bruce easily used God's telekinesis to transform the psycho-parasitic into fly ash. System, load Supergiant's psycho-parasitic ability. Supergiant did not expect that one day, she would die under her own ability. Originally, psycho-parasites were able to devour the memory of the host, and then left a small part of the thought to manipulate Supergiant. But Bruce ordered psycho-parasites to destroy the spirit of Supergiant. Bruce had little to no mercy in general, and showed none of it to these people that killed so many innocents. Beep! Congratulations to the host for killing one of Black Order Supergiant and getting 10W of energy value. Beep! Congratulations to the host for completing the task of killing all of Black Order, and start the awakening ability. A stream of information flooded into his mind. At the moment, Bruce understood the meaning of the awakening ability. As long as he could save enough energy value at the time of fighting, he could have the opportunity to awaken. For example, Captain Marvel opened the 2-star state, which meant that the 2 stars were awakened. And then after she awakened her abilities, she could easily destroy a planet. As for Bruce, he had real and dark power, so starting the awakening ability was also equivalent to the awakening of the 2 stars. When this energy burst out, it would be stronger than the one he fought with Hela before. Of course, awakening also had different levels. Now Bruce belonged to God level, so he could only start the first level of planetary awakening. And each star was also divided into 10 stages. When the awakening of the planet level was completed, he could turn on the star level, then universe level, etc. Thanos, who gathered all 6 infinity gems, was equivalent to the universe level. But now, Thanos was still at the star level, which made him far less of a threat. Therefore, as long as Bruce reached the star level and started the double awakening, at that time, he could break his wrist with Thanos. The awakening function undoubtedly pointed the following road for Bruce. System, see the energy value needed for the next phase of awakening. At the moment, Bruce asked the system. Host, now you've reached the 8th order planet awakening, and you need 90W energy for the 9th order planet awakening. 90W energy value. Bruce opened his own panel. Name, Bruce. Identity, 6th level agent. Awakening, 8th planet level. Ability, War God Body, Deities' Power, God Bloodline, the God's Telekinesis, Magic Ball, Body Blur, High-Speed Movement, Full Induction, Body and Shield Oneness, the Dark Source, the God Power of the Real World, the Psycho Parasite. Warehouse, Storm God Hammer, Super Mach Shield, Mark 8 War Armor, Ant-Man Battle Uniform, Infinite Edition, Crystal Ball, Immortal Battle Blade, Star Shadow Spear. Balance, 200W USD. Energy value, 1W point. Bruce looked at his left 1W energy value and shook his head helplessly. The energy value was still not enough. It seemed that he had to collect the energy value as soon as possible. Chapter 218, Starship. Standing on the deck of the Asylum Man. Bruce lifted his eyes and looked out, seeing the high-rise buildings had become dilapidated. At the moment, Wakanda had already turned into a different look. The earth was badly destroyed and the blood flowed like a stream. There were many corpses of demonic and human, broken limbs, and blood-stained weapons. After Bruce killed Proxima Midnight, Black Order had disappeared. Without the 5 devils, the Dark Army had no leader, which seemed to be very chaotic. But the situation on the battlefield was still so violent. These damn monsters! At the moment, Black Panther could not help cursing. Just now, he used the scientific ball to count and found that the troops of Wakanda tribes had lost half. We need to think of a way to blow up those big guys in the sky. What's the solution? At the moment, Captain America asked this with his hands touching the scientific ball. Let me go up and have a try. A familiar voice came out. Mr. Stark, is that you? That's great. Why did you come here? Spider-Man was surprised now. Ah, I have brought reinforcements to you. Then a large group of Iron Man suddenly appeared from the east. These Iron Man quickly flew to the starship group in the sky, and the starship's defense system quickly found the enemy. Then its laser cannon continuously sweeps the Iron Man army. But, Friday, as a super artificial intelligence, it had already long planned to avoid route for Iron Man army in an instant. Then Iron Man army dodged these lasers according to the avoiding route. And then they used their cutting weapon directly to break into the starship. Whoa, the monster in the starship immediately rushed forward when they saw the enemy coming. Bang! The Iron Man's arm was transformed into a weapon shape, and then the monster in front of him had been broken into pieces. The Iron Man army quickly defeated the monsters in the starship. Boom! After a few minutes, a group of Iron Man army flew out from the starship and blew the starships into fireworks in the sky. Good job, Tony. At that moment, the American captain said with excitement. Hello, everyone. Boom! Another starship exploded into fireworks. Then everyone looked over, seeing a golden 6-star pattern that appeared around the starship. At the moment, a large group of masters wearing plain robes were floating in the air. It was Doctor Strange and his master army. Yee! Spider-Man was very excited now. Did you come so late on purpose? Tony teased Strange. Idiot, the Dark Army not only attacked this one place, but also other places, so we came here after we killed all monster around the holy place. Tony instantly had nothing to say. After all, he had also spent a lot of time on making these Iron Man army. When everyone was talking happily, boom! The other 3 warships in the sky all exploded into fireworks. Then a man in a black suit, who was armed with a pair of magic soldiers, dropped from the sky. It was Bruce who made a move. Beep, congratulations to the host for killing the monster and rewarding 1 energy value. Beep, congratulations to the host to destroy the Titan starship, and reward 10,000 energy value. The sound of the system was ringing constantly. And finally, when the energy value came to 130,000, the voice stopped then. At the moment, Bruce let out a sigh of relief. After he killed the monster in the warship, he actually came to the battlefield in a hurry. At last, he had a chance to pick up a big head when the others did not act. Every starship, at least, had tens of thousands of dark armies. It's Bruce! Great! Scarlet Witch Wanda first discovered Bruce's arrival. Bruce is really powerful. At the moment, Strange also made a flattery in time. And Thor stopped in mid-air and snorted. Just now, he was preparing to find out Thanos in these ships. But it seemed that he did not need to do this anymore. Then Bruce's consciousness swept through the battlefield. The 3 giants of Avengers, Strange, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Dr. Banner, and others. No one was killed, but they were all tired. Bruce landed on the ground after he put the 2 magic weapons in the warehouse of the system. Then Scarlet Witch jumped in his arms at once. A red mark appeared on Bruce's face immediately. Wanda, the war hasn't ended yet. Bruce held the beauty in his arms and said this gently. I know it. Then Wanda stuck out her tongue at Bruce. But Bruce suddenly became serious. Promise me, find a place to hide in a minute with Vision. Wanda kissed Bruce again. Although she did not know why Bruce said so, Wanda was still reluctant to draw the transfer door. Later, she looked back at Bruce and left. Bruce knew that the battle between him and Thanos was unavoidable. Therefore, he did not want harm to anyone in the process, especially his own woman. "Bruce, where have you been? I'm worried about you." At the moment, Captain America's voice came from the communication channel. "Hey, Steve, don't forget to invite me to drink. I have killed Black Order." Even if Captain America knew that Bruce was very powerful, he was still very shocked by this good performance. After all, when Winter Soldier, Falcon and him were just now competing with Proxima Midnight, they all felt it very difficult to deal with the demon. And when they were fighting, these demons all gone, actually it was Bruce who did this. "I would like to thank you, Mr. Bruce, for the people of Wakanda." At the moment, Black Panther made his own remarks in the channel. "It is my pleasure, Mr. T'Challa." Bruce calmly said this. "Don't mention this. There are still many miscellaneous fish on the ground. So let's talk about it again after we solve them." At the moment, Iron Man interrupted the conversation and said this. "Yes, Mr. Bruce, come here. I'm very pressured now." Spider-Man could not help vomiting. And Bruce had no choice but to shrug his shoulders and rush to the direction of the crowd as soon as possible. Chapter 219, Thanos. Vommer Star. On the edge of the desolate cliff. At the moment, Thanos looked at the end of the broken cliff and was silent. 3 rays of light were lit on the infinity gauntlet worn by his right hand. The 3 rays of light represented the power source of the 3 universes. They were Power Gem, Space Gem and Reality Gem. Originally, he had only 2 gems. But he got the Reality Gem from the collector's hands after he butchered the nihilistic land. And now he was going to get the 4th gem, the Soul Gem. But Thanos had just learned from the Red Skull that if he wanted to get the Soul Gem, he needed to pay for it. This pay was to let his beloved people jump into the broken cliff as a sacrifice. At this moment, Thanos remembered that when he first saw Gamora, she was still a little girl. At that time, he covered her small eyes with mercy, and did not let the little girl see that their clans were slaughtered to protect the young girl's childhood. That was a father's move. Even though he had trained Gamora into a notorious killer in the universe. But indeed, he really treated her as his daughter. And this was also why her sister hated Gamora. Because no matter how hard she had tried to prove herself, she never could not get Thanos' same love. But today, for his own idea, even if he was not very willing, he had to do so. At the moment, Gamora looked at Thanos and retreated step by step. But she still was held by Thanos. Thanos cried and threw her daughter into the cliff with his hands. Bang! Looking at the dead Gamora on the ground, he murmured, "Goodbye Gamora, my daughter. You will forgive me." At this moment, he felt very lonely. The next day, Thanos stood up from the pool and saw the orange light of Soul Gem in his hand. Then he put the gem into his infinity gauntlet. Soon, he felt a feeling of controlling the Soul Gem. The heavy soul was full of sadness, as if he could smell the aura of Gamora. At the moment, Thanos took a deep breath and adjusted his emotions. He was determined to resolve the sadness of the death of Gamora and turned it into a driving force for him. Even though he was far away from the Earth, he could still feel the resistance that the Dark Army attacked the Earth. Why are these mortals always unable to understand my thoughts? And just wait for liberation? At the moment, Thanos said to himself, and then he lifted his infinity gauntlet. At the next moment, the space gem flickered, and then Thanos moved to the battlefield of Wakanda. Thanos appeared on the battlefield suddenly, leading to a dazzling light in the territory of Wakanda. The overwhelming aura came, making Thor, who had been focusing on this aura, instantly turn around. He remembered this man even in his dreams, because he was the murderer who killed his brother. At the moment, Thor stopped killing the monster around him. Ah, ah! Accompanying Thor's roar was the awakening of Aesir power. In the sky, clouds were dense now, and the thunder clouds fell down. Right now, Thor's body was completely surrounded by the thunder snake. Even his eyes turned into the color of the electricity arc. At this moment, he was so close to Odin's power. Looking at Thanos, Thor's eyes had only anger and killing intent. Because only he destroyed this guy could he alleviate the pain of losing his loved ones. I'm going to kill you, Thanos. Thor was shaking heavily now and said this word by word. After saying that, he grasped the axe and tried his best to throw the newly created Thunder God's axe into Thanos. A destructive power came, and then the Thunder God's axe was pouring out rays like a meteor falling. In a short time, however, Thanos quickly lifted the Infinity Gauntlet to make a defense. Then the purple light shot out from it, and it instantly stopped the axe. Sizzle! After the two intense forces crashed together, they immediately emitted a loud and negative voice. And then the visible light around them was sucked in and turned into a dark vacuum. This also made the light connection more dazzling. A ferocious smile now appeared on Thanos' face when he resisted Thor's attack. The sun is just a sun, and he can't compare with his father anyway. Thanos' meaning was that even Odin was unable to defeat him because he had 4 gems now. Therefore, it would be very easy for him to kill Thor, who was just at god level. The purple light from the power gem began to be at advantage, and the energy of the Thunder God's axe gradually was collapsed by it. Then the axe fell back, and naturally, Thor was also knocked away. At the moment, all Avengers around were shocked by Thanos. Because Thor's strength became very powerful, just like a nuclear after he came back from Asgard. And it was so easy for him to slaughter demon soldiers, just like killing ants. Even demons would not be a match. Therefore, it was very clear that Thor was already the most powerful person among them. Even so, he was not a match for Thanos. How powerful he was! Damn it! At the moment, Captain America lifted the shield high and jumped high. At this time, the Avengers' morale could not become chaotic, so as one of the 3 giants, he had to make a statement. But Thanos just blinked his eyes and easily blocked Captain America's shield. He then punched Captain America heavily on the ground. The strong Captain America still wanted to climb up, but Thanos just took a glance at him impatiently. He thought he was really a stubborn child that he disliked. Then the purple light was condensed. It directly broke Captain America's Iron alloy shield in half. And Captain America was also shot to a faraway building wall and rolled out a human hole. Then he fell down and nobody knew whether he was alive. No! At the moment, Black Widow looked at Captain America with grief and then jumped to the ground. She was ready to fight against Thanos with her assassin's strength. Thanos had long already detected her move. Then a ray of energy was shot out from his eyes, and then Black Widow was blown away. Thanos waved his hand to remove the vapor that was emitted by the high temperature and turned over his head. Nobody knew whether Black Widow was alive. At the moment, Hawkeye continuously shot at Thanos. Even though he had made a large area explosion of arrows, it was still not enough for him to relieve the anger in his heart. Then Thanos moved to the back of Hawkeye in the dust and Hawkeye was also knocked away by him before he reacted. The following were Winter Soldier, Spider-Man. Looking at the Avengers all being knocked down, Banner was extremely angry. After all, Thanos ever defeated Hulk and now he bullied his friends. Ow wow! Then Hulk appeared. In a row of anger, Banner finally transformed into Hulk, and the nuclear-level power was detonated. But could this nuclear bomb win Thanos with 4 gems? The answer was no. At the moment, Hulk's fist hit Thanos' body, but Thanos even did not move at all. The more angry the Hulk was, the stronger Thanos became. He deliberately let go a punch and then began to laugh at Hulk. The ugly was just the ugly. They can only scare the children. At that moment, Hulk became more angry with his words. But no matter how angry he was still unable to compete with Thanos with 4 gems. The power gem represented the ultimate power of the single universe level. Then Thanos fought back. Bang, bang, bang. The scene where Hulk hit Loki before appeared on his own body today. Hulk had paid his actions. Then Hulk was knocked unconscious by Thanos again. After he knocked down all Avengers, Thanos said loudly, "Who can defeat me?" This marks the end of part 35 of the story Marvel Unlimited Skills, I Can download. Thank you for listening. Please like the video and hit the subscribe button to listen more. Hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content uploaded to the channel ASAP.